dhātu, the source of meaning. Most Sanskrit words can be derived from basic units of sound and meaning called dhātu. The term dhātu can mean a basic element, a point of origin, a source. These meanings are found in different contexts, not just in grammar. Each dhātu conveys a certain action activity, such as being, going, understanding, eating, etc. And thus, dhatus are also called verbal roots, as verb in English is related to actions. So when we speak of verbal roots in a context other than Sanskrit, this is often related to etymology and is what you will find in etymological dictionaries. In English, we associate actions with verbs almost exclusively, and then we speak of verbal nouns to extend this association to nouns, but in Sanskrit it is not so. The association is not so much restricted to what we would call verbs. Therefore, I added this specification. Each word will retain some of the sounds of the dhātu from which it originates, making its connection to an action immediately perceptible. Of course, there are changes that can happen, and the sounds of the root will not always be represented identically in the words which are derived from it, but nevertheless we do find this connection. This makes Sanskrit a very vivid and interconnected language. Vivid because we can immediately perceive a connection to an action or activity, even when we read words which might sound very technical or maybe abstract when we translate them into English. And interconnected because all the words which have similar sounds are likely to have similar meaning to an extent. Dhatus are usually single syllables. Let us look at one of the most common of all Sanskrit dhatus, bhu. This means to exist or to be, and is used to form a large number of nouns, verbs, and indeclinables. There's also a bhu used in a different sense, that of imagining or contemplating, and that is the root from which we get bhavana, which we normally translate as meditation. Here are some words derived from bhu. Bhavati, something, someone is or exists. We don't need to really express the agent through a separate pronoun in Sanskrit. That's why I have these words between brackets. Bhava, an entity, existence. Bhava, existence, a realm of existence. Now, the sense of a realm of existence is prominent in the Buddhist texts. Bhuta, what is, the past, something that has been, so it can mean also something real. Yatha bhuta, as it is, in accordance with the reality, things as they are. Swabhava, own entity, own existence, essence, nature, own being. These are a very important word in Buddhist thought. Sometimes a particle called upasarga is added before the dhātu. In some cases it does not change the meaning, in other cases it does. For example, while bhava means existence, prabhava means power. It is said that there are three possibilities when we add an upasarga in front of the dhātu. One is that nothing changes. One is that the same meaning is intensified. And the third possibility is that the meaning changes. Here are some of the dhatus found in the Heart Sutra and the words that are derived from them. Jñā, to know, to cognize, to be aware of, to understand. sarvatnya, someone who knows, nya, everything, sarva, omniscient. So this refers to a Buddha. Jnana, awareness, this can refer to cognition in a general sense, or to a very elevated type of awareness, such as non-conceptual realization. So some translators prefer using two different translations for these different usages, and they would use cognition versus gnosis. But I feel that awareness is flexible enough that it can cover both. That's why I use awareness. Vijnana, consciousness, most commonly refers to the cognition of something, a moment of perception of an object. So this is also one of the 5 aggregates, one of the 5 skandhas. Prajna, wisdom, elevated type of awareness. So pra is understood as prakrishta, meaning elevated, excellent, superior. Samnya, notion, a mental factor that picks up an identifying feature of the object. So in that case, this is one of the 5 aggregates. A name, an appellation. So in this case, it can mean also a technical term. Sometimes also used for consciousness in general. This use is found, for example, in the sutras which discuss non-Buddhist views of a permanent self, which can be either conscious or not conscious. Jnatabhya, something that should be known. Lok, to see, to look at, to observe. Avalokita, seen, looked at, gazed upon, observed. Vyavalokayati, someone sees, looks at, observes. We could also add the word loka, although there are 2 derivations, and one of them is from luj, which means to be destroyed. Buddh, to awaken, to wake up, to know, to understand, to cognize. Bodhi, awakening, Buddhahood. Buddha, someone who has woken up from the sleep of ignorance, someone who has realized the nature of all things, someone whose mind has blossomed. So these are the 3 main meanings of the word Buddha, as discussed by commentators. Abhisambuddha, someone who has realized, awakened to something. So in this case, this takes an object. Char, to move, to course, to practice. Charya, practice. Charamana, someone who is practicing, someone who is coursing. Drish, to see, to look at, to observe. Pashyati, someone sees, looks at, observes. Here you can notice that the difference between the root and the verbal form derived from it is a little bit more significant. We do not really have the sound dr represented. Shwin, to increase, grow, swell, or to move. Shunya, empty, something fit for growth, increase, a key word in the Buddhist tradition. Shunyata, emptiness. Vid, to know, to feel, to perceive, to experience, or to exist. Vedana, feeling, experience. One of the 5 types of entities, so one of the 5 aggregates, that make up a sentient being. And this, of course, relates to the first set of meanings, not to the meaning of to exist. Vidya, knowledge, also a magical type of knowledge, synonym of mantra. Avidya, ignorance. Kra, to do, to make, to create. Samskara, assembled factor, something that comes together with other causal factors to produce an effect. So the sum is understood in 2 ways. One is as a kind of intensifier, the other one as coming together. Dra, to bear, to have, to hold. Dharma, the teachings of a Buddha, virtuous behavior, an entity. These are the 3 main meanings of the word dharma. Man, to think, to regard, to consider. Manas, thought, mind. Gam, to go, to reach, to move, to understand, to perceive, to cognize. This is a general principle. When we have a dhātu, which conveys the sense of going or moving, it will also have the sense of to understand, to cognize, to realize, etc. Gata, gone, reached, arrived at, and thus, according to that general principle, also understood, realized, etc.